Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm talking about the third week of November. And a lot is transforming during this week, so I'm going to be talking to you about November 15th through the 21st. Day by day, what I do is I look at where the planets are every day as they change in transit, and mainly focalizing everything through the moon, because that is kind of like our fast hand of the clock to give us information that we need to know personally for our daily lives, as well as what's happening globally in the world. So if you like this, I do want to remind you, to make it even more personalized, you're going to want to look at my Galactic Planner. Go to galacticplanner.com. It does your personal chart with all of these transits and delivers it to your calendar, where you can be personally prepared for everyday activities through your own personal chart. That's on galacticplanner.com. And don't forget to go to my website to sign up for my free newsletter, galacticcenter.org. And while you're there, sign up for my Patreon page. Become part of a spiritual community. Okay, let's get going. We got a lot to talk about with this week. So, starting with November 15th, yes, this is going to be enormous, because that's the day that Saturn stations, but it's been stationing, let me just tell you, for a couple of weeks, but it stations to go direct today. So everything about Saturn is powerfully intense. Everything, we're going to have to pay the retributions, the cause, the backlash of everything with Saturn, right? But the moon is still in Aries. And actually, let's see here, the moon is in Aries, and it is the full moon today. Oh my, definitely. The 15th is the full moon, and dealing with that, the moon and the sun are both at 29 degrees. I've mentioned this before. This is like the end of something. It's huge to have this full moon at 29 degrees of Aries. Aries is the beginning, but the 29 degree marking is the end of something. It's kind of the end of an era in a way. But looking at the moon, Jupiter is still, towards the evening, the moon is going to shift into Taurus, but halfway through this day, and I'm talking Central Time where I am, the moon being in Aries, Jupiter goes to the second house. It is a prosperous day, and the moon coming to its fullness means things come to their fullness. So prosperity and gains can be coming about on this day. Venus is still in Sagittarius. So Venus is actually in the 9th house from the moon. This is nice for travel. This is nice for connecting with our spiritual pursuits. And Mercury Mercury's still direct, but Mercury in Scorpio, in the nakshatra Jyesta, in the 8th house from the moon, we are digging deep to get to the core and the bottom of things in our own life, as well as globally what's happening out there in the world. But most of all, this full moon means things have come to fruition. They have come to its culmination point, and the full moon is a day to make good for what you have been working on. Take time out to see if the results of what you've been working on for the past 2 weeks have come to their fullness and realization period. It should today. So now I'm looking at November 16th, and we have the moon in Taurus, and it is actually in the nakshatra Rohini. Rohini is the moon's favorite nakshatra. Taurus is the sign of exaltation for the moon. Plus, it's with Jupiter. This should be a good day. Things are coming around. It's a great day for shopping, getting things done, because Rohini's all about quality, good things, eating good food, finding the best of positive things. Now, because the moon is in Taurus's sign, it empowers Venus. And Jupiter is in Venus's sign. This is a lovely day, by the way. I think this is a good day to get things done. Relationships are working out, even though it's still the moon and the sun are in opposition. Mercury's in a good place, and it's almost exactly opposed Jupiter. It's applying today. Tomorrow will be exact, by the way. But I love this Jupiter-Mercury. It's a good time for travel. It's a good time for communicating with people, getting your message and information out. It's fantastic. Lovely, beautiful day. Use this day to do whatever projects, buying, and relationships. It's fantastic. Use this day for whatever you want that's good, that you feel like is good for. Now, November 17th. The 17th, the moon will have crossed over Jupiter, still in Taurus, but it's shifted to the nakshatra called Mrigashira, which means a search. You're searching for things and searching for answers. But I always think of Mrigashira, and in terms of a search, sometimes deals with shopping. And with the moon being with Jupiter, it's a great day for that. It's like, get things done, find what you need. You'll be satisfied and happy with what you buy during this day, if I could say that. And from this, we do have Mars being in the third house. Third house is, be careful with your travel plans, because Mars could make you a little bit over the top, too impulsive. But still, Mars in the third house will give you courage to get the job done. And I will say this, be careful visiting or calling your brother or sister, because it may end up in an argument if you're not careful with that. And be aware, in the workplace, you might be working a lot harder than normal, with Saturn being in the 10th house from the moon. So November 18th, and remember, November, really the 16th through the 18th, we have Mercury opposed Jupiter, but today it's exact. And I love this aspect. It means something on a communication level is working. We are really working hard to make things happen. And like I said before, I think there's something about the elections that will be finalized with this Jupiter-Mercury. Now, it may not stick, but something we'll get news about. And the moon has just moved into Gemini, into the nakshatra Ardra. Now, Ardra is a serious nakshatra. Its symbol is actually a teardrop. So there will be some sadness. And when I look at this, with the moon being in Gemini, it does deal with communication issues. So there's so much going on with the prospect of communications coming out. Now, with Jupiter opposing Mercury like this, relationships, you will be able to communicate better what your message is. And it may be a good time to travel. I'll give you that. So with Jupiter is exactly opposing Mercury. Beautiful time. But Mars is in the second house from the moon. Be careful what you say. Think before you speak, because it'll come out all wrong if you don't. Or be quiet. Don't talk so much during this day. Take it easy. But I do love that Venus is in the 7th house from the moon, which feelings of love and appreciation and thankfulness should come out. Express this to your partner and express this to your loved ones. That's a beautiful day with Venus opposing the moon. Even though there's a little bit of sadness in the air with the moon being in the nakshatra Ardra. So now I'm looking at November 19th, and the moon is still in Gemini, but it's moved into my favorite nakshatra. I just love this nakshatra, Purnavasu, because it means return of the light. And this nakshatra has no shadows. It just wants the light, the positive, no ill intentions with this moon. And it's moved to a point where it's still opposed Venus, so this is even a better day for expressing love and appreciation for others. Mars is still in the second house, so be careful with your words. If you have some criticisms to give, probably hold it off to the next day because it's not going to be taken well. Jupiter is in the 12th house from the moon, and sometimes when Jupiter's in the 12th, it's a time of generosity and giving. So give to the causes and the things that you believe in. Doesn't always have to be money. You can give your time and your efforts. Now I'm looking at November 20th. And with this day, the moon moves into Cancer. And here we have Mars in Cancer. So the moon is going to conjunct Mars. And this is a little edgy. This is a little difficult. People will be on edge and angry. So pull back somewhat today. And the moon is so strong in Cancer. It rules Cancer. But Mars is debilitated there. There is a lot of difficulty going on. And the moon will be opposed Pluto on this day. So be careful of extremes. Pluto can deal with excessive, mainly impulsive type information, but when somebody becomes obsessive compulsive, that's what I'm saying. Be aware that people around you could be like this. This isn't a good time to express your love. It's like everything seems to change on this day. Jupiter is in the 11th house, so it does deal with groups and friends, but with the moon being here, I would kind of stay to myself. And but with the sun and Mercury in the 5th house, it is a day to be creative. Yes, it's a great day for creative work. And but I would stand back from expressing yourself too much with others. So November 21st, this is the last day of the 3rd week I'm going to talk about. The moon has crossed over Mars, so all of the anger and frustration is past somewhat. It's better. It's not as intense. But the moon is still in Cancer, which means there's a lot of intensity. And the moon is now in the nakshatra Aslesha, which is a nakshatra that can be the trickster, can be dealing with, I just got to say, somebody being very sneaky and not being honest with you. So be aware of that. With Mars, it can be mean. And Saturn is in the 8th house from the moon. This is just not the best time. Even though the moon is in its own sign, people are overly reactive and angry. And we have a lot that's brewing underneath. And just take care, lay low during the time that the moon is in Cancer. And that covers the 3rd week of November. And the last week will be pretty much the grand finale. So you're not going to want to miss the last week of November. So with that, I'll close. Remember, if you want to learn more about me, go to my website, galacticcenter.org. While you're there, you can sign up for my free newsletter and Patreon. Don't forget my Galactic Planner. Find out exactly what you need to be doing every day astrologically, And if you want to study with me, go to my university website, universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.